All right, warmly welcome to our webinar on the next version of our Pulse survey. Now, we have been working on this new version since July this year, so there's a lot of expectations and I'm very excited about this update. And I'm super happy to see so many friendly, familiar faces here in the audience. Hey everyone. And for those who I haven't met yet, my name is Jaakko Kaikuluoma. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Teamspective. Happy to meet you. So this session is about 30 minutes. It's tightly packed and it's going to be recorded. So you're going to get a link in case you want to show this to someone else. So for the agenda today, we will have the following topics. So we'll go over the reasons, like why we're making this update, because I want you to know what we're striving towards. Then I'm going to tell you about some of the things that will remain the same in our app, because not everything is going to change. Then we're going to give a good look into what actually is changing, and then I'll let you know how to upgrade, and I'll also demo this new Pulse for you. Then at the end of this webinar, I'm just going to give some updates about the other things that are happening at Teamspective. And then at the end, you're going to have some time to turn on your mics and shoot some questions. But if you do have some questions during this presentation, please feel free to use the chat. Our team is also here. So Jose, most of you probably know quite well already. So he'll be answering any questions you may have also during this presentation. But on with the first topic. So why are we doing this update? First reason is that we want to provide more accurate information to teams and to leaders. Our old Pulse survey, it was only 15 questions, so it's quite short. So there's obviously gaps between questions, and some areas we don't cover with those questions. So we want to cover those gaps. There's also been some feedback that the questions are a bit repetitive. Certainly after 1 or 2 years, people already know the questions quite well. So that's also something we've considered. Then we also want to provide more of these like really high quality questions with benchmark data, because a lot of you have used custom questions and those don't have obviously benchmark data. So we want to provide that as well to you. And then also many of you have been using other engagement survey solutions besides Teamspective. So we kind of want to cover that area and help you do this in one solution. Then other things, we also want to get more open comments from users. And I actually posted something on LinkedIn today about this. Third thing, main thing, is that we want to simplify the survey scheduling. Then finally, give some actionable tips for all of these new questions. And before going into like what changed, I promised to highlight some of the things that actually remain the same. So also in the future, the Pulse surveys run super smoothly in Slack and Teams. So the kind of experience of answering those questions will change, well, almost not at all. There's only like more and different questions, obviously. But the surveys are also still very short. So the median round is 6 questions, about 30 seconds or so to respond. That's something that is important to us and that we want to hold on to, because that also ensures the like high participation rates in the surveys. Well, also in the future, the surveys run fully automatically. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to touch the system. It rotates the questions automatically and works like magic. You also get to choose which questions you want to use, and you can create your own custom questions. those will be available for you as well. Also, teams in the future, like before, have direct access to their own results, and they get tailored suggestions based on their results. And all old questions are also still available. And now you're probably wondering, like, is anything going to change? Yes, now we're going to get into that. So the big change is that we have designed a whole new structure for this Pulse survey. So there are three main KPIs. Those are engagement, well-being, and DABE, coming from diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. And under those three KPIs, there are themes, and there's a total of 16 themes. And under those themes, there are a total of 61 questions. And now, there are also different kinds of questions. This is something new in our Pulse survey. So there are outcome questions that give these scores to themes and KPIs. So for instance, motivation and engagement would get scores from outcome questions. Then there are driver questions, which kind of help explain and find the root causes that impact these KPIs and themes, so that you can have something very concrete to solve in those teams where this theme has alerted. So kind of flipping it around. So if you want to know why a certain question is worth asking, then it's just a matter of like checking which KPIs or themes this specific driver question impacts. So the structure is new. There's a lot of new questions, but also the old questions can be found there. And we've done a lot of research to come up with this survey structure. Structure is something that's going to change. More questions in the default settings is also something that changes. Then this scheduling is also going to be new for you. So there's like automated default settings that we recommend you to use, but you can of course modify that, and I'm just going to show you in a minute how to do it. You also get more comments, like open comments from users now through our automated smart prompting. So nowadays our surveys end with a like open question, and we have already seen a 10-time increase in that activity, which we are very happy with. I hope you are as well, because that feedback came from you. Then we will also be supporting these like annual surveys, so you can manually schedule some questions that are outside the kind of automated scheduling. Then we also support new language versions. So there's German, Swedish, Italian, and Spanish. So a lot of things will change. And before I go to the demo, I'm just going to show you like how you can make the change or upgrade to this new version. So we recommend you to do this upgrade at the beginning of next week. The reason for that is you can't upgrade if you have an active Pulse survey right at the moment. So you need to be like in between Pulse rounds when you do this update. The upgrade button can be found in your Pulse scheduling page, and only admins have access to this, obviously. And there you can check the questions. You can tick off any questions or add any questions however you like. And then, of course, it's good to communicate internally. The changes, like said, the kind of answering experience changes minimally. There's only like new questions. So most of the changes are actually the admins on the admin's desk. And maybe just a suggestion, you can maybe try sharing this slide if you want to communicate about this internally. So I am going to jump to demo. Now, if you have some questions already on your mind, feel free to use the chat. Otherwise, we can talk at the end of this session in about 10 or 15 minutes. So right now, here I am in the Pulse schedule tab. So I can navigate here from the beginning. So now I'm here in my workspace. I'll zoom in like that.
Just about to say, thank you.
I'll go here, Pulse, schedule, and I can find the old scheduling options here. And then we have this upgrade button. And when I click here, you also can you get a confirmation window. And once you click that, the page changes. So all the changes will happen automatically. You can do this whenever you're comfortable doing it. And you're going to see a page like this. So you still have the options to launch these surveys weekly or every other week. And you can choose the time it starts and the time it ends. But what's changed is that you have these KPIs here: engagement, well-being, and deep. And you can modify these. You can turn off if you, for some reason, don't want to include these questions. We, of course, recommend having these as default settings in the beginning. But also, if you want to see the full list of questions, you can go here and just go through the list. If the question is ticked, then it's included in the regular schedule. And here is an estimation on how often this question will be asked. And simply put, you can just add those questions if you want to include them, or you can take out any questions or all questions that you want to include or exclude from this list. Now, there are some questions that are not included in the default settings, and those we recommend you would use in the annual surveys. So you can schedule manually a larger survey round where you collect these data points from your people. So this is it, simply put. Now this is custom schedule. I made some changes in there. And here's a summary. Now there's 31 questions scheduled. There are 6 questions that are being asked weekly. If I change these settings, also the texts in the summary change, so you can see in real time how that survey would look like. And the outcome questions in this survey would be asked about every 3 weeks, and the driver questions would be asked every 6 weeks. And here are, again, if you missed the explanations about outcomes and drivers, you can find some tooltips right here in the product. And when you're saving, you can check here the schedule and preview how the next Pulse rounds would look like. And once you're happy with it, you can just save, and all changes will take effect in the next Pulse round. And here, we didn't add it for this webinar, but you can imagine that here is a button which says edit the next survey round. And there you would be able to add all of those custom questions that you may have, or if you want to include, for instance, ENPS on the next round, you can do that in there. Or then you just want to launch all of the other questions outside the normal scheduling in one go, then you could do that there. So that's also coming in the next few days. All right. I guess my demo was mainly that. Yeah, I'm confident I told you everything I wanted to tell you. So right now, if you have some questions, please do feel free to shoot them in the chat. Otherwise, I'll just briefly tell you about the other stuff that we have been working on, and then I'll let you also put put up your microphones and ask some questions. So one of the things that we've been building over the past year is a tool for organizational network analysis, or ONA. And we really believe that this is the next big thing in HR tech. So this ONA allows you to identify organizational silos and collaboration between different functions. So you get to see actually the strong or lacking support that, for instance, your different new country units get from the mother organization. You also get to see from ONA the key influencers and most crucial connectors across the organization. You get to see this network impact profile of each individual. So you get to see how they actually interact, and do they give energy, do they bring clarity, that sort of stuff. And that's good material for one-to-ones or development discussions. And finally, you can also visualize dynamic collaboration clusters, and you can get Pulse results for them. So this picture here that you can see, it's actually calculating these clusters, like who is working with whom, and all people belong to one cluster. So they kind of lean in, and we can count these things from the network analysis. And then when we see, like when we match, for example, ENPS towards those, you get a lot stronger contrasts in the scores compared to the normal admin team comparison. So it really gives you a lot more insight into how your organization works and how the groups interact and reinforce their own thinking. So it's something that we are also very excited about. We're happy to tell you more about this in our next calls. Also, our team has grown. We are now 6 people. So Ture and Alexandra have joined our team in this autumn. We have also one new member in our advisory board, Mikko Kivelä. He's from Aalto University, professor of network science. And yeah, in summary, we have a new, better Pulse survey solution that's ready for you. You get more questions, you get new KPIs, you have improved scheduling. You can update next Monday, for instance, or whenever is best for you. You can also talk to your contact person if you have any questions. We will help you. And we also recommend you to try our new ONA solution. So talk to us and we will set you up. All right. We managed to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for this session. I sincerely hope that you enjoy the update, and let us know if there's anything that you're still missing. Keep the feedback flowing. Your feedback has been in key role in designing this update as well. So I'm really looking forward to hearing your feedback again.